It starts with a sound, a distant rumble, a steady drumming on the roof, water where it shouldn't be. In an instant, everything changes. Homes, memories, and security are swept away by a relentless force. Floods aren't just statistics, they're stories of loss, survival, and resilience. Today we count down the top 10 most devastating floods in United States history. This is more than a list. It's a memorial to lives and communities forever altered by water. Imagine a wall of water, 40 feet high, racing toward Johnstown, Pennsylvania. On May 31, 1889, the neglected South Fork Dam collapsed after days of rain, unleashing 20 million tons of water. The torrent obliterated 4 square miles, sweeping away homes, families, and hope. A fiery inferno trapped survivors on the wreckage, compounding the horror. Over 2,200 lives were lost, making it the deadliest U.S. flood of the 19th century. The tragedy exposed the deadly cost of negligence and spurred the first major American Red Cross disaster response. Johnstown became a symbol of preventable loss and a call for accountability. In 1927, the mighty Mississippi became a force of destruction. Relentless rain swelled the river, breaching levees in 145 places and flooding 27,000 square miles across 7 states. Hundreds died, and nearly 700,000 were displaced. Many African Americans forced into segregated, unsafe camps. The disaster exposed deep racial and economic divides, fueling the Great Migration north. The aftermath led to sweeping changes in flood control, including the Flood Control Act of 1928. The Mississippi Flood of 1927 forever changed the nation's landscape and its people. It was a turning point in how America confronts nature's power. Katrina, one word, a national trauma. In August 2005, levees failed in New Orleans, unleashing a catastrophic flood. 80% of the city was underwater. Thousands were stranded on rooftops, waiting for help. The lower Ninth Ward was devastated, homes tossed like toys. Over 1,800 died and damages topped $125 billion, the costliest U.S. disaster ever. Katrina exposed deep inequalities and the fragility of our infrastructure. The scars remain, but so does the spirit of a city that refuses to be washed away. Katrina was more than a storm, it was a reckoning. In September 1921, Central Texas was deluged by record-breaking rain over 38 inches in thrall in just 24 hours. Rivers exploded from their banks, sweeping through towns and farmland with terrifying speed. San Antonio's downtown was inundated. Entire communities vanished overnight. At least 215 lives were lost, and the devastation led to new flood control projects like the Olmos Dam. The 1921 flood remains a benchmark for rainfall intensity in the U.S. It's a reminder that even unlikely places can face unimaginable floods. June 9, 1972, Rapid City, South Dakota was hit by a deadly flash flood. 15 inches of rain overwhelmed Canyon Lake Dam, sending a wall of water through the city at night. Entire neighborhoods were swept away as residents slept. 238 people died and over 1,300 homes were destroyed. In the aftermath, the city transformed the floodplain into parks, a living memorial. Rapid City's tragedy led to new safety measures and a community forever changed. It's a story of loss but also of renewal. The Great Flood of 1993 was a slow-motion disaster across the Midwest. Months of rain saturated the land and levees failed, flooding 30,000 square miles in 9 states. Entire towns vanished beneath the water for weeks. The Mississippi and Missouri rivers merged into a temporary inland sea. Damages reached $15 billion, but the death toll was kept to around 50 thanks to early warnings. The flood tested the limits of human engineering and community resolve. It left a deep psychological mark and changed how we manage our rivers. The summer of '93 proved nature's persistence can overwhelm even our best defenses. On July 31, 1976, a hidden storm unleashed a flash flood in Colorado's Big Thompson Canyon. In just hours, up to 14 inches of rain fell, sending a 20-foot wall of water roaring down the canyon. Cars, homes, and campgrounds were obliterated. The highway vanished. 144 people died, including tourists and locals, with some never found. The disaster spurred major improvements in weather forecasting and emergency alerts. The canyon's beauty was forever scarred, but the lessons saved lives nationwide. The Big Thompson Flood is a stark warning about the dangers of flash floods in the mountains. It changed how we prepare for sudden disaster. In 2011, the Missouri River's dams faced record snowmelt and rain. To prevent dam failure, the Army Corps released unprecedented water, flooding communities for over 100 days. Cities like Pierre and Dakota Dunes were inundated. Thousands were displaced. The slow, relentless flood caused billions in damage and sparked fierce debate over river management. It highlighted the complex balance between safety, infrastructure, and nature. The 2011 flood was a test of endurance, and a lesson in the challenges of controlling mighty rivers. In May 2010, Nashville was hit by a record-shattering deluge, over 13 inches of rain in 2 days. The Cumberland River and local streams surged, flooding neighborhoods and landmarks like the Grand Ole Opry. 26 lives were lost and damages topped $2 billion. The disaster received little national attention, but the city's unity shone through. "We Are Nashville" became a rallying cry as neighbors helped neighbors rebuild. The 2010 flood was catastrophic, but it revealed the city's resilience and heart. Music City refused to let the waters silence its spirit. In September 2013, relentless rain drenched Colorado's Front Range, triggering widespread floods. Over 17 inches fell in some areas, overwhelming rivers and canyons. Roads and bridges vanished. Entire towns were cut off. Nearly 2,000 homes were destroyed and 10 lives were lost. The largest airlift since Katrina rescued thousands. The disaster was a wake-up call about extreme weather in a changing climate. The 2013 floods left a legacy of destruction and a renewed respect for nature's unpredictability. From Johnstown to Colorado, these floods are etched into America's memory. They remind us of our vulnerability and our resilience. In the aftermath, communities rebuild, adapt, and remember. The waters will always rise, but so will the human spirit. Thank you for joining this journey through our nation's most profound tragedies.